FIFA World Cup 2022 edition of the Coach and Crew Show. Tantor, Charlie, it's go time for FIFA World Cup. It's fall, it's Thanksgiving, it's stuff I don't agree with. I've had a hard time embracing this FIFA World Cup ramp up and process. Regardless, it's here. The moment that first ball is kicked off, all that stuff goes to the side with Phil and myself as residential World Cup expert knowledges. I wasn't around in 1932 when the U.S. was in the semifinals, but I think Phil might have been. So we got some data to go on. Maybe the 1966 England Championship. I don't know. We'll start with right with what I think is one of the more interesting point of views. You had like Germany last time just bomb out and age out. You had USA not even qualify because they aged out. Teams like Germany and USA, I think, are going to be the two biggest wild cards in all this because we just don't know what to expect from this new look group. And yeah, they've had their ramp up in qualifying, but then how are they going to do against about the best of the best? Phil, if you had to say there's a wild card in this already before we get into the groups, who would you say is our wild cards?
Well, you've mentioned, I had two of what you just mentioned, USA and Germany. But I think that Germany got stuck in a tough group. So advancing through that group is real difficult.
They did.
My wild card, quite frankly, is Canada. That team is freaking loaded, top to bottom, with world-class athletes. And it's not like they're just doing it in MLS like the U.S. is. They're doing it internationally. And I think Canada's freaking loaded. And all it's going to take is one little screw up. And they're not in the hard division bracket either. They can get out of that fairly easy.
My buddy Scott, the one he threw out, even with Mane out, he's still thinking Senegal can make some movement and raise some eyebrows. And
they are in an easy bracket, in my opinion. So I think they actually get through because they're going to finish second to the Netherlands.
All right, well, let's jump right into Group A. You got Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands. It's the Netherlands, not the nether regions. Okay, the Dutch, the Orange Crush. I personally think the Netherlands are getting out, and I've got Senegal also getting out as the second. Group A, Phil, how are you looking?
I concur.
There we go.
I think the Netherlands with Depay, Memphis. I mean, come on, I love that name, Memphis Depay. I mean, who couldn't like that name? He's going to be a contender for the Golden Boot. So, and we all know Tantor hates Dutch soccer. Just on the principle. I wanted to get through it without saying that name, but you know, I just can't stand the guy. Even though he doesn't coach the team anymore, even they had enough sense to fire his butt after not scoring any goals for a long period of time. So, but they've got Memphis to pay, and I think Netherlands rolls in that Group A.
Group B, we've got England, Iran, USA, and Wales. Are we both making bold statements, Cotton, and putting USA through?
What I'm going to say is this. The star players for Team USA all play in the British Premier League. The star player for Wales plays in United States at MLS. Boy, is that different. And I think that's how it's going to turn out to be, is that the quality that Team USA shows and athleticism is going to be better than what Wales can put on. I can make my jokes about them playing soccer on grass, and I don't know how the Wales are going to do on that. In the water, they're going to, yeah, I know. You know, I'm here all week. Tip your waiters and waitresses and your bartender.
All right, Phil, breaking news. We're going to pause right here. Called in from across the pond, from somewhere in London, England. Welcome back, Wanker Pucklechurch.
Hello, my good mates from across the pond. Let's go!
Cheerio, mate. Now,
Cheerio.
Are you going to actually go to Qatar and have that white pasty body get exposed to all the heat and sand, or are you going to just watch it from the Blimey Beaver and stay local in your pubs?
Well, thankfully, I do have connections, and I am going to be able to make the trip. Thankfully, I know someone in the state of Florida who provides a wonderful array of sunscreen protection, of which I will be wearing SPF 58.
Okay. So, Wank, let's get right into what we're viewing as one of the biggest games of the tournament, England and USA. I assume you're going to be pulling for the Brits, but how do you see England USA going to play out for us?
Tri-Lions will definitely be on point. We'll need to be on point. You know, we're going to be having to count on our defensive, Trippier, Connor, Jordan Pickford. We're all going to have to be playing well in order to accomplish having to match up well against the Americans. But we're hoping for a strong game and hoping for a big finish.
Do you see England winning the World Cup this year?
Now that of course, in my heart I say yes, but in my head it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I will hopefully we make it past the group stage. That is, of course, our first ambition.
Now, Wank, let's get back and let's get caught up in your life before we let you go. When we last left off, you may or may not have been stumbling in the streets. So what has Wank been up to the past couple of months?
Well, it's been a fun summer. Ready for the World Cup. Of course, it's odd that the World Cup is now taking place in November, which is so strange as far as time is concerned. But yeah, it was been a big prep for that. Watching the Premier League, and it's been a fun way to start the season. And I've only been arrested thrice, which is good. I say once more, and I get a set of steak knives. So very happy. Maybe that'll perhaps happen in Qatar.
And do we want to know the means behind the arrest, or are we just going to let that one go by?
Let's just say it might be illegal to carry a goat and a ladle in the streets. Leave it at that.
And we're not going to milk that one for all it's worth.
That would be bad.
Don't get arrested in Qatar there, Wank.
Because they will cut her off something.
Exactly.
Last question before we let you go. Any celebrity sightings that you've had lately?
Well, I was able to see the king. We have a new king has been crowned. So Charles and I are very close. And by close, I mean I'm not allowed within 50 feet of him. So it's been wonderful at least to see him from a distance. But God save the king and God save England.
God save Wank Pucklechurch. Thank you, Wank.
Cheers, mates. Tally ho!
I'd like to thank Wank one more time for joining us from London. If we're recording at 9:30 our time, it's probably the pubs have probably just shut down. That's why he was now available London time. So we're gonna get right back into it. Group C and where we stand with Group C and our thoughts on that. I personally think it's two teams' job to lose and not advance. Argentina and Mexico out of 4. Phil, are you, I guess, thinking the same thing?
Look, Argentina's going to take that group. I think Poland gets out of that over Mexico.
Okay.
I think Mexico's struggling. There's a lot of infighting on that team. I mean, if we've been reading internationally, even though I love the coach, it's just they've got some internal problems there, and I think Lewandowski's just a little too much for Mexico
That
to
might
handle.
be your at least group level leading scorer right there.
Mm-hmm.
Group D. I personally think France is one of my 2 front runners to hoist the cup above their heads overall. So I definitely have France coming out. And I think it's the Denmark. I think they also find their way through on Group D. Again, Phil, for some of these groups, to me, it just seems that easy of a choice. But that's probably where I'm going to screw up.
Well, look, you can't go wrong with France because I think they've got a chance to take it all, especially with their forwards up top with Mbappe and Benzema. So I don't see anybody stopping them, and it's certainly not in that group. And I like the Danes to come out of that behind them too. So I can't argue with that.
Group B. If Group B is not the kiss of death, then Group E absolutely is. Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan. Who you liking in Group B?
Well, I think it's Spain. I think they're going to bore everybody else in the group to death. They're going to pass the ball around probably between 900 and 1900 times before they take their first shot. Everybody else will be asleep, and then they'll sneak one by. But it doesn't hurt that they've got one of the best keepers in the game, so no, they're going to get scored on anyway, and it's going to be a 1-0 win. After that, then we said earlier, Germany's coming through.
It wouldn't surprise me if Germany finds their offensive powerhouse like they've had for the past 5 World Cups before the most recent one, and they start scoring again. I have Germany getting out. And yeah, same thing. Everything you said about Spain, I unfortunately have to agree with. So we'll use Spain as well. Group F. You've alluded to one of your surprise teams earlier. So we got Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. Belgium is number 2 in the country or in the world with FIFA rankings. I kind of see Belgium getting through, and I like your thoughts of Canada. So there's my 2. Are you pulling the trigger with getting Canada through?
Yes, and I mean I love Belgium, Lukaku and De Bruyne. I mean, and their keeping and their defense, Belgium's solid. However, I think Canada is the most physically talented club in the World Cup. I think they have the best athletes. I think they're the most explosive. And if they just get a tad bit of luck, a guy slide in, try to get an offside or something like that, I think Canada can beat Belgium. I think Canada can go a long way.
Group G, I'm going to get a little interesting. Brazil, I think, is everybody's odds-on favorite to get out of the group, and I'm probably no different.
I'm there with you.
I'm going to go Cameroon.
See, you like Cameroon on that? I've always liked Serbia. For whatever reason, they're just, I hate to say this, but they just play dirty. I mean, we'll have to cut that part out, like we had to cut Wank out when I asked him about Harry Kane, and he said, "Don't talk about his mom like that." I don't even know where he was going with that. So, that got cut.
And then there's Group H. If there's one group that I think could fully implode, it's Group H. But we know as Americans how Ghana can always get through. And then the Korea Republic look no further than last year's World Cup and how they went through. Any of these 4 teams, you can make a strong argument why they would get through, in my opinion.
I thought that was kind of equal. I'm not a Portugal, bandwagon fan there. I think they're old.
I think they're going to be proven old as well. I don't have Portugal going out.
So I think that's the group that you need to watch because it's going to be 2 surprise teams getting out. And you're 100% correct. I don't think Portugal is going to be one of them.
So there's your groups. We'll end this with the ultimate easy question. And it's also the hardest question before we even get to knockouts. We'll give you 2 teams. Take 2 teams for the championship. I'm going to be as boring gets with mine. I'll let you go first.
If you go with world rankings, you're going with Brazil and Belgium. I don't think you can go wrong with that. But as we all know, somebody throws a curveball in there somewhere. So I think it's going to be Brazil and France. And I think France is going to beat Brazil.
You just took my predictions. Brazil is due. It's been 20 years since they've hoisted. And I'm sorry, France is loaded.
Hey, you definitely.
All right, people, Crew Nation, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit subscribe and comment your thoughts. So thanks for supporting Coach and Crew Show, and enjoy the tournament. We'll do a end of group stage midway point when you see us next.